a piece of gear you will never see, but something I use in almost every MacVoices recording. This is MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is a MacVoices briefing on the ProCo short-stop passive mute switch. I've been doing a short series of articles over on the MacVoices blog about gear that I use and things that I find that make my life a little easier. And I've had some feedback that maybe it'd be a good idea to make those into briefings here so that the regular MacVoices audiences are fully aware of them. So we're going to start doing that. And so you'll see briefings maybe appear a little more often in the feeds. So here we go. The short-stop passive mute switch is something I've been using since the very early days of MacVoices. In fact, it's so early that I could not go back and find when I actually purchased it. It's been that much a part of my setup for that long. And what it is pretty simple. It is just a foot switch that you press down on to interrupt your audio. Now, why would you want to do this, especially if you're not doing podcasting? Well, a couple reasons. First of all, it looks like a lot of us are going to be working from home a whole lot longer than we thought we might, either on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. That means you might want to start thinking about upping your video conferencing game, both audio and video. This time we're talking about the audio portion because that's probably and arguably one of the most distracting things that can happen if you are on a call, especially with more than just one other person, and something happens in your background or theirs, it's extremely distracting. With the short stop, you can solve that problem pretty easily. Now, I understand that all of the major conferencing systems, Skype, Zoom, Teams, they all have some way to mute your mic on screen. But number one, that takes time. Number two, it means that I've got to look away, look up on the screen and say, oh, where is that icon? Click OK. Or I have to look down on my keyboard and find the key combination that mutes my microphone. With the short stop, your foot can always be on it, and just when you want to mute, you just press down on it. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to keep on talking, but I'm going to just as you could see, there was no audio coming through, and that's exactly what you want. A couple of things you want to look for in these passive mute switches. The first one is that you want to make sure that there are no clicks or pops or whatever, that the switch is completely silent. And I've had absolutely no trouble with this short stop. Occasionally, because it does sit on the floor and it is my foot that's on it, it might potentially get a little bit of dirt in it, and you just have to take it up, blow some compressed air through there, and it will clean it right up with no issues. I think I've done that once in all the years I've had the short stop. So it's not like it's a weekly, monthly, yearly thing, unless you just have an incredibly dirty house, which I hope you don't. Connecting the switch is very, very easy. There's the microphone that has an XLR connection plugs into the short stop, and then there's an XLR to USB cable that comes out the other side and goes into your Mac. And it replaces, obviously, the current connection between your microphone and your Mac, and that's it. It's simple to use because all it does is it's a one-switch thing. You do have settings for dynamic or condenser microphones so that you can adjust that. Of course, I did say it's an XLR, so that's one thing that if your microphone is USB, you're going to need a USB to XLR adapter, and there are a number of great ones out there. I'll put links in the show notes to those so that you can see these are some of the options, and they're not terribly expensive either. That's it. There's not a lot here to talk about because it just works. It does one function, it does it well. But it's something I really like because especially during regular MacVoices recordings, it seems inevitable that someone is mowing the lawn. Morning, noon, or night, there's something going on that I'd rather not have on the audio. And so a lot of times, if my guest is speaking, I would just press down on that short stop mute switch, and there is no audio coming from me, regardless of how noisy or quiet it is here. On MacVoices Live, and I hope you've been participating in those, but as the guests are speaking, and a lot of times they will go into protracted discussions, and I'll just let them run, I am free to work with the chat room, comment in the chat room, both our private Slack chat room as well as the public YouTube chat room, without having to worry about, am I muted? Am I not muted? I know if my foot's down, it's muted, and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm completely free to do anything. And again, without that distraction and the delay of making sure that you're hitting the right button or the right key combination to mute your mic. This way, you know that at a second's notice, a call for sneeze coming on, you can press down on that mic and you won't get that jarring burst of sound that can be so distracting. And I know you know what I mean, because I know a lot of us are doing more Teams meetings and Skype meetings and Zoom meetings, and inevitably somebody has to be told to mute their microphone. The Proco short-stop passive muting switch is available for about $78 on Amazon and also elsewhere online. And it's something that I highly recommend if you want to up your game just a little bit, if you're going to be spending a lot more time on audio and video calls. I'm Chuck Joyner. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.